Mind your business and keep Will Smith's significant other's name out your mouth. You think you'll hear from Will. Yet I love Will, and I love Will Smith is pissed at Eddie Murphy and a ton of different comics. Entirely what used to be a legendary Hollywood manly relationship is transforming into an exemplary superstar fight. And this time it's between Will Smith and Eddie Murphy. Unbelievable comic Eddie Murphy jabbed the bear, or would it be a good idea for me, I say, new ruler of Bel Air, during a new parody routine. Eddie chose to sprinkle shortly of flavor by ridiculing that scandalous Oscar slap occurrence, including Will Smith. Previously, how about we go on a speedy outing through a world of fond memories, a couple of years prior our guiltless and embarrassment freedom of thought. Smith wound up in conflict with the lofty institute grants, currently quick forward to Eddie Murphy's satire, set where the interesting man couldn't avoid the potential chance to take a lively hit at the entire Oscars trickeries. Eddie figured out how to wind in certain kids about Will's circumstance, which made the crowd yell and wheeze. Yet here's the kicker: Will Smith isn't giggling in that frame of mind's a long way from its sources. Near the circumstance have uncovered that Will is feeling really irritated by Eddie's brilliant globe. Circle rumors from far and wide suggest that he's in any event taking into account making a lawful move, taking steps to sue his kindred entertainer for going too far. So what precisely went down? Well, before we get into it, make a point to offer the video a go-ahead and buy into never pass up any new recordings. It's free and assists us with massively bringing out new happy for your happiness. So did you end up getting the 2023 Brilliant Globe grants as expected? Eddie Murphy, he was ablaze. He caught the esteemed Cecil B. DeMille grant, which is no joking matter in Hollywood. It resembles a lifetime accomplishment grant for making the world chuckle. And truly, Eddie Murphy merits all of it. I mean, I even have affectionate recollections of him from Specialist Doolittle. Yet here's the genuine, all the rage, Eddie's acknowledgement discourse. That was something different. He was unable to oppose attacking Will Smith's scandalous Oscar slap episode. I mean, the timing was flawless. And the group went wild. It's difficult to get a room brimming with elite stars snickering. Yet Eddie Murphy knows how to function that swarm. He's been making us roll on the floor, giggling with his stand-up and his remarkable characters perpetually. So it's no time like the present. He gained some merited appreciation for each of his commitments to the diversion world. I mean, here, pay attention to the discourse yourself. You'll get what I'm attempting to say. He said, I need to tell you that there is a conclusive diagram that you can follow to make progress, flourishing lifespan, and inner serenity. Do these three things: pay your charges, mind your business, and keep Will Smith's better half's name out. Yo, and keeping in mind that the group cherished the joke, Will Smith had different contemplations. Reports have been whirling around demonstrating that Will Smith was not exactly satisfied with Eddie's energetic punch. It appears to be that the notice of the scandalous Oscar hit a nerve with him. Naturally so, as the episode is as yet a sensitive area for Will from the past. From what we hear, Will Smith is genuinely considering making a legitimate move because of Eddie's joke. He feels that the line was crossed, and he needs to spread the word about his disappointment. Now Eddie Murphy, favor his heart, has at long last revealed some insight into why he made the reference to the scandalous Will Smith Oscar slap during his Brilliant Globes appearance. It turns out Eddie found out about how stirred up Will was getting, and he felt a sense of urgency to address it. When columnists inquired as to whether he had addressed either Smith or Rock since the occurrence, he answered with an ardent no, I haven't, except for I love the two of them. So obviously, Eddie holds a veritable friendship for both Will and Chris. Later, during a meeting view with Diversion this evening, Eddie expounded on his joke, expressing on the grounds that truly I've worked with Jada, I love Will, and I love Chris and Will. And it's all adoration. When Extra inquired as to whether he expected to hear from Will after the joke, Eddie openly answered, no yet, I love Will, and I love Chris. Eddie even referenced that in the event that he were facilitating the impending Oscars, he would have consolidated a comparable kid about the scandalous second, assuming I was trusting the Oscars. I would have worked that joke that I did right in there some sort of way. I think you need to express something about it, yet you know. When you continue on, Eddie isn't anxious about tending to the obvious issue at hand and pushing ahead, so clearly there's a few put in a bad mood, plainly Eddie. Murphy's expectations were established in a position of warmth, and a craving to address what is going on with some humor. Love is by all accounts the predominant feeling from Eddie's side, even amidst all the confusion. Yet we can help yet can't help thinking about how this affects the manly relationship among Will and Eddie. The truth will surface at some point, assuming they'll have the option to streamline things. Yet one thing is without a doubt right currently. Will Smith isn't taking Eddie Murphy's joke of late, and the justification for why he's so pissed is on the grounds that everybody continues to ridicule what is going on. Will figured he could get a break. The Oscars moved around once more. And you got it, Jimmy Kimmel chose to get on board. With that fleeting trend of jabbing the wheelbarrow, Smith wound up at the focal point of Jimmy's comedic focus. And how about we say he's had an adequate number of sources near Will at any point feel that he's totally smoldering over Jimmy Kimmel's pokes of the Oscars. It resembles adding fuel to the fire. And Will isn't in that frame of mind. For it, he's finished enduring the jokes and needs to put a finish of the joke unequivocally. And I can comprehend the reason why he's inclination, baffled particularly when every one of the jokes hits so up close and personal. And when you have a 1-2 punch from both Eddie Murphy and Jimmy Kimmel, sort of no big surprise, he had enough on the off chance that you missed it. While at the Oscars, Jimmy said, "We realize this is a unique night for you. We need you have some good times. We believe you should have a solid sense of reassurance. And above all, we believe that I should have a real sense of security. So we have severe strategies set up, assuming that anybody in this performance center commits a demonstration of savagery any time during the show. You will be granted the Oscar for Best Entertainer and allowed to allow a 19 short-lived talk. Truly, the foundation has an emergency group set up. If anything eccentric or rough occurs during the service, do what you did last year, nothing, stay there. And do literally nothing, perhaps give the attacker an embrace. And the expanding influence from that, I'm shocked he's doing whatever it takes not to sue Jimmy as well. This actually isn't over. Enter Tony Rock, the sibling of the prestigious comic Chris Rock, who isn't precisely satisfied with Will Smith either, however, who is as of now. Tony Rock has spread the word, and he's not keeping down in that frame of mind of the continuous show. Tony has taken a position against Will, communicating his own dissatisfaction. It seems like he accepts Will ought to accept the jokes and not let them get under his skin. Tony Brock is no more interesting to satire. He knows the idea of the business, and he could consider this to be a chance for Will to embrace the humor, as opposed to disapproving of it. With these clashing perspectives, we end up seeing a conflict of sentiments. While Will Smith is requesting regard and a finish to the jokes, Tony Rock could try and think that Will sort of merits it all. I mean, Tony spilled the tea on how might lied, so all things considered, Will merits it. Gracious. And on the off chance that you have hardly any insight into the tea, how about we taste on it together? Do you recall when Will Smith guaranteed that he contacted Chris Rock after the Oscars, and Chris would not converse with him? Well, it would seem was a shameless deception. Tony Rock, Chris' sibling, uncovered that won't ever truly contacted Chris in no less than 2 days of the Oscars. It was undeniably utilized to acquire compassion from the majority that I connected with him. He would have rather not talked. That wasn't correct. Sincerely, Will had us all tricked. Yet you realize he's an entertainer. After the entirety of Here's the Kicker, Tony Rock isn't frustrated. He's out and out enraged with Will. He can't comprehend the reason why Will wouldn't essentially send a straightforward message or have a one-man to another discussion with him. It seems like Tony expected a fundamental degree of regard and correspondence, which he feels Will totally dismissed. I simply thought we were superior to that my telephone number has never showed signs of change. So I simply thought I'd get a call one day like, "Hello man, we should just you." And I talk you realize it hasn't occurred now. This disclosure adds an entire nother layer to the entire circumstance, revealing insight into the intricacy of the connections inside media outlets. So what do you think? Remark down beneath. And let us know as to whether you like this video. Click the buy in button and hit the ringer symbol to be quick to see my next video.